Welcome back to the channel, the 20th anniversary of Xbox. It's really hard to believe it's been 20 years since that first Xbox launched, and I can think back to the excitement that I had when I saw this system. It was a brand new console, and it was doing things that promised to be extraordinary. And when I got it home, the game that pulled me towards that Xbox wasn't Halo, believe it or not. It was Star Wars Obi-Wan, which I know, bad game, but again, it wasn't available anywhere else, and when I played it, I remember thinking, oh, look at the reflections in the floor when you're fighting Darth Maul at the end of the game. This can't be done anywhere else. The Xbox is incredible. But there were some things that I really fell in love with. One was the idea that I didn't need a memory card anymore. There was something called a hard drive, and it was going to be included inside of the Xbox, and you can literally save your games right to the system. That was completely unheard of. And they also introduced custom soundtracks. I could actually put my own music in games by utilizing that hard drive. So it was doing things that were very fresh and very new to console gamers. And I found that very, very appealing. It was also the big, bold American brand coming into the console market. And they had games that were really obscure, but some of them that were really great. I remember Enclave. If you never played that game, look it up. It was just a really different type of RPG, and I was used to the Japanese style of role-playing games on the PlayStation 2. At the time, most of the RPGs were Japanese-centric on the PlayStation 2. I remember the PlayStation 2 launched with something called Summoner, and that was the closest thing to a Western-styled RPG that I can remember. But Microsoft with Xbox really came in and started to push these different types of experiences, and that's what I remember. So I watched this show, and I did enjoy it. It's sort of a throwback to the beginning of Xbox. Some people talked about the mistakes that were made. They also introduced something in this 6-part series that you're going to see, which goes back to the beginning of Xbox and talks about all of the mistakes that were made, and I'm really interested to watch that. It's a 6-part series, and I think it's something that's going to be really, really insightful and fun to watch if you're somebody who was purchasing Xbox when Xbox first came out. We also got a glimpse, finally, of that Halo project. You remember way back when they talked about Steven Spielberg creating some sort of Halo movie or Halo TV series. Finally, we see something, and you see Master Chief putting his helmet on. You see, or you hear Cortana. It is on Paramount Plus, which I don't have, so I'll have to figure out some way to see it. I'm sure I'll figure it out. But that's exciting. They're building out their brands into other forms of entertainment, and once that happens, you know that your gaming brand, specifically Halo, has become sort of this phenomenon when it can transcend different mediums besides just being a video game. Now it's going to be a series. More people are going to hear about it. Maybe people who aren't into video games at all and fall in love with the story and the world and the characters, and maybe some of those people will migrate back to play the original games, which you can play through backwards compatibility, which is another big feature of the Xbox brand. And they did talk about backwards compatibility and a few surprises there in this show. All in all, I really did enjoy this show because, for me anyway, and these are just my opinions, I feel like it gave you a glimpse, if you were somebody who wasn't around then or wasn't interested in Xbox, where they were coming from, what their message was, what their mantra was, and you get the feeling that halfway through they sort of lost their way. And I'm interested to see this documentary because they do talk about that. They do hint at discussing the ideas that were sort of failures and some of the people that were negative against the brand internally. I'm interested to see how that affected the brand, but they did sort of start out as this hardcore box and this place to go if you wanted the best games possible. Throughout the generations, they sort of lost their way. They talked about the red ring of death a bit. They talked about the Xbox 360, but now it seems like Microsoft's back on track with the Xbox, and they're sort of leading in areas like Game Pass. And I feel like the core of maybe who they were and who they are is sort of melding together now, and hopefully the next batch of games created internally are going to be really special for the Xbox and Xbox gamers. So I came away feeling really positive about what I saw, and I'm excited about the future. They did announce Halo multiplayer is available right now, which was a big deal for fans of Halo multiplayer, and I think that there's a lot of positivity right now around the brand going forward, and hopefully their first party really delivers in the future for Xbox. And I have to say, after watching this, I do have much more of a sense of excitement around internally what they're doing, what their motivation is going forward. And I'm very excited to see those games that are coming out in the future. I'm very excited for Halo Infinite campaign really, really soon. Let me know what you think about this show. Did you watch it? What did you think? Were you excited? Were you not excited? And you get a little bit more sense of excitement after watching this show when they sort of reach back to those feelings that you had around the first Xbox when it came out. Thanks for watching.